Hey, what's up, Scott Balk? I'm here with Imagination Creation Films, and it's Friday. You know what that means? I think it's me, a live stream. Oh, yeah. Welcome, everybody, to Friday. Yeah, like you didn't already know it was Friday. Everybody knew it was Friday. That's what we do as humans. We look for Friday because we're in the daily 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job unless you're not. And that's what I love about this industry is, yeah, there's Monday through Friday, but there's also Saturday and Sunday you could be working too. It's nothing like working 7 days a week. But you know what? It's the reward, and the reward is the creativity that we put out and the smile that comes back, or the horror that comes back, or horror that comes back, or, you know, just any one of those number of things that just come out and say, yeah, hello, yeah, how's it going? So we are live streaming, everything looking good, everything is there. We've got, we got lots we could talk about today. There's a ton of news out there in the camera world, and I love talking about camera tech because, well, you know, I'm a nerd, and nerds like to talk about camera tech. That's just what we do. So if you want to talk about camera tech, great. If you want to talk about lighting, you want to talk about cinematography, movies, you want to talk about grip, you want to talk about production, post-production, editing, pre-production, you name it, we can talk about it. And first comment comes from Jesse. Hey, Jesse, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, SDI 4K. That is, those of you who don't know or have not seen that video yet, I was given exclusive. I make a big deal out of it. For me, it's a huge deal. I enjoy the heck out of it. But I was given exclusive detail to share with the public yesterday from the new Red Digital Cinema Komodo 6K camera. Now, Jared, if you haven't seen the video, Jared loves to tease little snippets out there, little bitty things. He likes to get people guessing and create that allure and that want. And you know what? It works. People are all over the place guessing and looking at the different parts of the camera. And he gave me the piece yesterday, SDI 4K. That is what is on the back or side, or, you know, I don't know where it is, on the Komodo 6K. But that is something that has not been on any other Red cameras, which is interesting because here you have the Komodo 6K with a 6K Red sensor. We don't know what it is yet. We know it's a Red sensor. It's got the RF Canon mount, which is a very shallow mirrorless. It's got a headphone and a mic jack, which means you don't have to buy an audio interface. It has 4K SDI out. It does not have HDMI. So this thing is really kind of geared towards small production, but production. And then it's got CFast inside. So there's all kinds of questions that could be drawn from that. Yeah, it's an exciting day. Jesse, what's going on in your world, man? You driving anywhere? You tracking any storms or haboobs? Haboobs, is that right? The sandstorms, haboobs? I think that's what they are. Who else is out there? We got several people out there that are just kind of chilling in the background, and you know, I'd love for you to just reach out and say hello. Maybe you're one of my new subscribers. Welcome. If you are not, and you've been here a long time, and you just want to chill, hey, no problem. That's what we're here for. But these Fridays I typically reserve. I go starting at 4 o'clock, and I pretty much go until the party dies. And I'm here to answer questions, talk about, learn from you, teach you, whatever it is. I don't mind. I'm here for you, just to have a little conversation, a little bit of fun, a little bit of excitement. Since YouTube took away my ability to enjoy fine cigars and adult beverages, now I have to drink fruit punch. Yay. Jesse says, getting ready to go to San Diego. Storms this weekend in Tucson area. Very nice. Jeff says, hey, Scott, new to the channel. Saw you went live, so I wanted to check it out. Well, thanks, Jeff, for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in there. the live stream, the typical live stream where people just sit there and go, today we're talking about the Aperture MX Lite, and we're going to go through it. Every once in a while I'll look down at your question. That's not how we do it here. We do it as a conversation. So we go what you go. And if you want to pop some questions down there, then we have a conversation. Everybody joins in. It's a great time. It's fun had by all. Mike Royal, how's it going? It is going fantastic. Thank you for asking. In fact, it was kind of fun this last night watching the counters tick up. YouTube's algorithm and their live metrics are not quite up to stuff. I was getting 3 different numbers as to how the videos were going, and I always like good, exciting videos. I mean, the Black Magic stuff is exciting as well, and I'm happy to talk about that because that's definitely a camera that I am also interested in as well. Mike, where are you from? Jeff, where are you from? What do you do? What do you like to shoot? Do you like to tell me about yourselves? Let's have that conversation going here. I've got my clean desk policy going on, which means I start every show with a clean desk minus a few carefully placed things. Kevin Kelly says, Bon Pernigio, y'all, practicing my southern Italian. I assume that's cheese. I don't know. Jesse says, mine will be here on Monday. Are you sure, Jesse? Are you absolutely sure? Did you get are you? Oh, Real Minds, yes. That was my favorite comment yesterday of all the comments. It said, what do you want, a sauna? And I thought, you know what? I like to be comfortable. And it's always hot in here anywhere. Mike Roll says, I love to shoot Sony. Excellent. What kind of stuff do you do? Photography? You do videography? You do professional? They go all the way from Venice all the way down to point and shoots. Love Sony. I have it's upstairs, A7R3. I love to shoot myself. Juan Parmigiano means good afternoon. Well, there you go. I thought it meant I was born a Parmesan cheese. See here. So, Jesse, yeah, you think just received shipping confirmation. Really? That is interesting. That is really interesting. Did it come with a tracking number? What are my thoughts on the A7R4? That is a great question, Mike. Here's my thought. If I had an A7R2 and I was looking at upgrading, I'd probably just jump right onto the 4. If I have a 3, I have a 3 myself. I'm not likely to upgrade to the 4. The main reason is I don't think there's enough there to justify the jump. I like 60 megapixels. Don't get me wrong. I love megapixels. But to justify an expense and a cost, go to that. I don't think it's there. It's kind of like when I had the GH5 and the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K came out. There was a lot of cool features of the 4K, but there was not enough for me to justify jumping from the GH5 to that. And it's the same way with the A7R4. So if you have anything less than an A7R3 or comparable, then yeah, I think it's a viable camera. I mean, what they did between the 2 and the 3 is massive, in my opinion. I think the dynamic range of that camera, the color science is really nice. What I don't like about the R4 is I feel like they purposefully, and I'm sure they purposefully did, stripped out the video function. I mean, here today, in this day and age, 4K, 60p, we should be able to shoot that on an expensive or mid-priced camera. The A7R4, you can't do that. That's silly to me. 30p is it. If you have any other questions on it, I'm happy to do it. I just want to jump around, but pop them in there. We'll get to them. Jeff says, here in South Florida, actually heard about you through Jeff Worley. Well, very nice. I'm a DP, mostly corporate, doc, and occasionally action sports. I share Jeff's famous hairstyle, but I keep mine under hats. Under hats. Yeah, wraps, hats, same thing. Yeah, Jeff's cool dude. Mostly corporate, doc, and occasional action sports. That's cool. I love our connection. We're back, right? That was weird. Huh. We lost and then we came back. And now we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Jeff Worley and corporate. I love corporate. Corporate stuff's fun. Doc stuff I like a lot more. Action sports is a lot of fun. South Florida, not as fun. Very, very humid. I mean, you guys clock it in there at what, 99.9% humidity? That's a lot of humidity for a fat guy like me. Whew. Mike says, I love to learn. Me too, buddy. Jesse Watson says, yep, just left New Jersey. Well, that's cool. So I had contradictory information. I had no reason to distrust either pieces of information, but I had it. I had heard that no one actually had them in stock. But it does look like Adorama did have them in stock, and I think they sold them out pretty quick. Let's see. Conscious Creative says, hi, Bill. How are you? Thanks for your input. Anytime. I mean, if you have any specific questions about the A7R4, sometimes, yeah. I would say there's no such thing as too much humidity, but every time I say that, I'm one-upped by some city that seems to have figured out how to keep it from raining, but make it more humid. I don't know how that works, but yeah, I used to grow up. Yeah, I used to grow up. No. I grew up in the Houston area, which is similar temperatures and humidity. So yeah, not fun. I don't like dripping with sweat, even though I can do that in 40 degrees outside, especially if I'm huffing around a camera. Let's see here. What is everybody up to today? What does everybody think about the Black Magic news and the red news? Jesse, did I lose again? I did not. Am I still connected? Are we having stream resumed? I hope I'm still connected. That's weird. Definitely having some internet glitching going on. Hey, Jesse, why don't you send me your camera? I'll do a review for you. Stream drop, now it's back, and we're back. And we're back! Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the stream. That is a little odd. It's definitely not atypical for my total history of live streams. But as of lately, that's a little atypical. Was out for about 1 minute. Daggum, that stinks. Sorry about that, folks. I live in the middle of nowhere, and my internet is very slow. So sometimes it just decides, you know what? No, we're not going to play today. And that was the past. A little bit better now. So do stick in there. I don't end these things abruptly unless the internet just completely disappears on my side for like an hour. I'll join right back into the live stream, and I'll probably just keep on talking. Come out to shoot with me. Ryan is sending some treats for it. Ooh. An EF, I bet. Ryan's got some nice treats to send. What are you planning on shooting with it? You gonna have some fun? I kind of want one. I'll be honest, and I'm not saying it negatively. That, like I said, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is not enough for me to jump. The RAW, when they added that to 4K, helped a little bit. The 6K and the EF, that helps a lot. The price doesn't help. I don't like that it's $2,500, but I mean, it's a 6K RAW camera. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It'll be interesting. I mean, there's some things they can improve on it, and I'm assuming they will. And it's interesting that they came out with this one so fast. And I do believe that it is not intended to replace the 4K, but rather to expand upon it. So it gives people an entry point, and then it gives somebody a higher class, higher capability machine. And I think that is awesome. And, kudos to Blackmagic for doing that. That also probably means there are so many Pro G2, G3, G74, G6K? I'm guessing G8K. Since Blackmagic likes to do those large jumps, I think it is entirely possible Blackmagic has a G2 8K up their sleeve. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know when they would do that, because it was kind of an odd one for Blackmagic to pop that one out today or yesterday, because we're in the middle of no man's land as far as gear announcements. So it was a little out of the blue, but then again, that's what camera manufacturers are liking. I mean, that's why Red basically completely jumped out of the whole show game. They don't do NAB or Cine Gear at all anymore, because they don't want to be held to a release schedule. And then it's like at NAB, so-and-so released this new camera. 1 minute later, so-and-so releases a new camera. And no one ever actually gets their day. Kevin says, now we know why the Pocket 4K was so big. Honestly, it's that big for the reason that the Ursa Mini Pro, Ursa Mini, and the G2 are all that size. It's all heat sink. I mean, inside of that sucker is all heat dissipation, because it takes a lot of power and heat to run a sensor at full bore 4K 60p and read that out, then write to media, pull from battery. You got a lot of heat loads in there. So that's that. I mean, to do the 6K, what that tells you is they have some efficiencies built in that allowed them to absorb more heat. The interesting thing there, I have to wonder, and Jesse, you'll be able to tell us here, when did you say you get there? Monday. How much that battery life is going to be now? Because pulling 6K off of a sensor in 4K 6 or 6K 60, well, 6K 50 or 5.760 or 2.4 to 1 aspect ratio 60 off of a sensor generates a lot of heat. Processing it generates a lot of heat. Saving it to cards, a lot of heat. It's a lot of power. And so the batteries were lasting anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. So I wonder what they're going to last now. So what are y'all excited for? What excites you? We've got lots of camera announcements. I mean, the Sony A7R4 for stills folks. The A7S III, which I don't think will ever get announced. I don't think it exists. I think it's the A7 IV that will come out. But what do I know? I would never be allowed to say anything until I'm allowed to say something anyway. So what do I know? Jesse says, I have external power and memory on the way too. Yeah, the external power, somebody needs to come up with a slim locking connector, because I've heard a lot of people breaking those little power connectors off. And I would definitely run it on external power. Jesse, if you don't know John over at Blue Shape, you should reach out to John and ask him about their Blackmagic power solution, because Blue Shape, or New Energy, I think it's called now, has some pretty good ideas on how to solve that problem. So, what's on your mind? Bill and Jeff and Mike and Tim and Jesse and Kevin. I don't know why that was hidden. Ollie says the A7S III Pocket 6K Komodo GH6 EOS RX, pretty dangerous, exciting, and frustrating time to buy a camera. You know, think about it this way. The more the digital takes off, which, I mean, that was going to happen, the more we jump out of mechanical innovations and jump into electronic innovations. And electronic innovations typically follow Moore's Law. And Moore's Law is that technology doubles every 18 months. So we're in a pickle now. Before, if you were buying a 35 millimeter film camera or a stills camera, actual film, you could have it for 20, 30, 40 years because it didn't change that much. Maybe they'd have an auto winder or something along the way, but it didn't change that much. With digital, everything's inside, it's electronic, and it changes. So we kind of need to get used to the fact that that stuff is going to change. And what I say is, get excited about the stuff that's out there, but, do your research, make your decision when it's time to make your decision, and buy. And then don't look back. Don't second guess yourself. I don't second guess any of my camera purchases. I didn't buy, excuse me, I didn't second guess the GH5 when I bought it. I didn't second guess the A7R2 or my Red or any of those. Just feel confident when you make your decision, jump in, buy your camera, and then stick with it. And then make amazing things with it. Go out there and use your camera and make a difference with it. Be creative with it. And, when it's time to upgrade, you'll know. Because you'll say, you know what, there's 74 features that I wish I had. And, there's 3 cameras that have it, so it's time to make that decision again. The sucky thing is that it's hard to make our money back. But this is what I was talking about with several of my friends. What an exciting time it is to be a filmmaker, honestly. There's so much power in these cameras now. You can do a whole lot more than you could ever do in these little cameras. You got lights like the Aperture 300D Mark II, that the power that comes out of this thing, and it can run on batteries. It is insane. So you can have a small camera, small lenses, a couple of small lights, some batteries, and you can go anywhere in the world and do what you couldn't do 10 years ago. That is an amazing feat, and that's what we should focus on as filmmakers, and just get out there and create stuff. Let's see here. There's no GH6. I don't think there's going to be. That's my speculation. A7S3, like I said, I don't think there's going to be. I think they're just going to have the A7R4 and the A7 IV. And I think what they're doing is R is resolution photographic, and non-R would be more video-centric, not as much resolution. Jesse says, Telta has a few sweet power attachments, including V-mount. I remember John Moon Pies. Yes, Moon Pies. I actually, I made it out with a whole queso. After everything shut down and we're kind of cleaning up a little bit, and John's like, here. So yay, moon pies. And I took those things. I don't think we finished the last moon pie. Tim, when did we finish the last moon pie? Was that at Yosemite? When we left Vegas and went to Yosemite? I think we had the last one there. Let's see here. Jesse says, Nikon's follow-up to the D850. Yep, there will be. That's a shame, but that is life and no big deal. All right, let's fire off some questions, people. Questions, comments, thoughts, provoking ideas, movies that you've seen that you liked, you didn't like, camera technology you like, you don't like, lighting technology, anything. Let's fire it off. Let's have some. Let's go rapid fire here. Let's go. Ali says, Scott, thanks for doing the shade off comparison with the DS. Haven't seen anyone else do that. It showed how much the new shade increases output. Yeah, this thing, and I've got more lighting coming from that, so stay tuned, because I just set up a standard, and this is not like proprietary. I just set this up. I'm going to release it to everybody else as this is the way that I'm testing them. And then I'm going to encourage everyone else to do the same with every light that they have. That's the new dish. This thing has got it's got little polished mirrors, and it does create it's a tighter circle. Get in there. There we go. It's a smaller output circle, but it is far more intense. I mean, far more intense. But what I'm doing with the lighting, and I've been doing this the last couple of days as it cools down in here, is I am testing from 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, and 5 meters. I'm testing in the dead middle. I'm testing all the way to the edge, and then just inward, just ever so you get some light on it, and then halfway between. And I'm doing that all along the way. And I'm testing that, like this one with this dome on it. I'm testing it with the Fresnel attachment on there. I've got it both in a spot and a wide. I've got a 1.2K HMI over there. I've got a 1K Fresnel tungsten, a 650 tungsten, 150 tungsten. I've got an RE Light 750. I've got the original 300D over there. And I'm testing all of these lights, and I'm just using a Sekonic 478 meter. All I'm testing is lux. Color temperature, none of that. I just want a simple measurement that everybody else can do, so that you're not doing, well, I measured color temperature, and poor Sue doesn't have the color temperature meter, or I don't. So measuring all these lights, and then I just kind of want to put them out there. The idea is to kind of create like a kind of like a diamond, a baseball diamond, and you just kind of mark, and then every light gets graphed, and so you can see how bright it is. Because what I've noticed on like LED lights is they don't seem to throw as far as a tungsten or an HMI even. And I find that really interesting. I'm not sure the technology of photons and how that works, but I find LEDs fall off faster. So I think it's important when, a company that comes out and says, our light is such and such at 3 feet. And then this other company says, our light is such and such at 1 meter. Well, there's actually almost 4 inches difference. And with the inverse square law, we know light fall off automatically is going to drop between those 4 inches there. So I think it's important that we all follow a standard as best we can, just as us as a community, so we can get an idea just exactly how bright a light is. And I think that will help quite a few people. Bill says, have you seen Stranger Things 3 yet? Yes, I have. I thought it was better than 2. I don't think it's better than 1. I did like it. It was fun. I'm really interested in Mindhunter. Also, if anybody has not seen The Boys on Amazon Prime, I can't say enough positive things about that show. That is by far one of my favorite shows this year. It is so well done. It is perfection. Jeff says, what do you think about the Pocket 6K only shooting B-RAW at all the frame rates above 4K? That right there is, I think, 100% because they can't write ProRes that fast. So ProRes over 4K is huge. I have output some 8K and some 6K ProRes files, and the data rates are more than you can write to CFast. They're more than you can write out through the USB-C. They're more than you can write out to any of the basically, they're limiting 500 megabytes per second on a write, because that is the most that any card can technically sustain. However, they're not going to give you 500. They're going to bring it down to like 420, 450, somewhere in that area, so that they have a little bit of a buffer margin. So they can't write ProRes that fast to those cards. That's why they're having to do it that way. If you notice, and I find this interesting too, on Blackmagic's website even, they're talking about the data rates, and they're talking about the time to record. They're using the 12-to-1 compression on 6K, which should tell you something. They probably can't squeeze. I mean, they probably can, but I mean, it's probably really tough to get low compression 6K onto external, internal media. So that's why they're doing it. Bill says there's a podcast that I'm interested in listening to about the cinematography of Stranger Things. That's Tim Ives, I believe, where they talk about controlling light flickering, camera and lens choice, and more. There are a couple of good podcasts that talk about that. If you know which one it is, let me know. Peter VR. Hi, Scott. Hi, Peter. Peter VR says, I couldn't agree more with Stranger Things 3 greater than 2, plus The Boys, plus Mindhunter 2. Yeah, a lot of people are smashing around Netflix saying that, no, Netflix is dying. I don't think so. I think Netflix has got their game on right now. With Mindhunter 2 coming, Stranger Things 3. Amazon is the one that I'm happy for, because I've tried a lot of their shows and never really liked them. But The Boys, way to go, Amazon. You did it. You got something out there that was well tweaked. I like it. And then HBO. I think we're going to find HBO moving towards this as well, with it being under AT&T and everybody going to the streaming platforms. Wow, my voice cracked there. I think you're going to find, like with Chernobyl was fantastic. I loved it. Game of Thrones, that kind of stuff. There's lots of episodics that could be doing it. Peter says, nice new set, by the way. Well done. Thank you. This is the sauna, as it's being called. It's still in progress, but I wanted to go ahead and pop it out here. If you saw the aperture, I did a little fun little thing in the beginning, and I thought it was I did that whole thing in an hour. I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, you know what, let's just shoot something. And I wasn't really happy how it turned out, but you can see now behind me, well, you can't see, but if you were to see in the room around, I'm now opposite of the brick wall, which is over there. What just turned off? Did the light just turn off? Maybe, it was my hand. I don't know, it's weird. So there's a brick wall, and then the window set is on this side right over here, and then I'm actually stuck in the corner back where the music stuff was. The music stuff was right here. So this is this set. That way I can leave this up all the time, and it never will interfere over there. Already over here, I have a desk set, an office set. I have now a talk show set. I have no idea what for yet, unless somebody comes visit. Bill, come visit. Come visit. Let's talk show. And then I also have a bedroom set. All of that's over in this area for future stuff to come. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Let's see. Yeah. Wesley says, I'm very close to just ordering at least one of those Blackmagic 6Ks. I feel that's a lot of camera. Not sure how I feel about the EF mount, though. I'm not sure why everybody's so negative on the EF. Y'all give me your take on what's bad about the EF. I personally love the EF. I'm not sure why. So let me hear it. Tell me what you think. I think it's a good choice. Now, honestly, the RF may have been a better choice for them to go to, but maybe not. I don't know. Because at least with the RF, like Red pointed out, hey, you could put variable ND on it. Bill says, I can't watch a bunch of Black Mirror episodes in a row. I have to watch one and then sit back and think about it. Rarely does the TV have that. Yeah, this is true. That is exactly how I consume Black Mirror as well. I guess it's because they don't tie together. They don't continue on. So there's no reason to binge. So it does give us the opportunity. And I think that's cool that there is room in film and show design that allows you to force people to binge or not force people to binge, or in fact, force people to not binge. I think that's pretty good. There was a light flicker about a minute before you noticed it. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I wonder what that was then. Maybe, I don't know. Super, super interesting, yes. I will come visit the talk show set. If you play the Johnny Carson theme song, will YouTube take the video down? Yes, it will. You definitely cannot do that. However, if anybody wants to write a similar to Johnny Carson, I'll use it for my theme. Wesley says, I'm happy because I have glass for it, but it's pretty much obsolete. But again, I ask why. What is obsolete about it? The only thing that EF is it forces the glass to be larger. That's the only thing that that I think EF does. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure that makes it obsolete. It's definitely, Canon wants it to go away, but then again, Canon wants anything to go away if you'll buy it from them. A lot of people are saying Sony, people should they should have put the Sony mount on a lot of these cameras, and I wondered exactly how many people own Sony glass or Sony mount glass over EF glass. I have a feeling you've got like Canon way up here, then probably Nikon, then probably Sony, then probably Micro Four Thirds, and way down here you got RF. I don't know. I think that's interesting. Wesley says, I just kind of get the impression that this is the last generation of glass for that mount. Maybe. I think it would be foolish if they did, because if you want people to buy your glass and they're not going to buy a new camera, you got to come up with something. But I guess it's a way to get them to buy new cameras too. Jeff says, so with me, I like that it's an EF, but since the sensor is smaller, that Super 35, not by much, since I'm invested in multiple speed boosters now, Micro Four Thirds cameras make sense for me right now. Yeah. But you're invested in multiple speed boosters. So do you have EF glass, or what do you have? Kevin says EF is a dead mount. Past history of Canon. I'm a longtime fan of Canon FD mount. Yeah, I dig it. I don't have a problem with it. And I do have EF glass. Yeah. So to me being EF, I like it because I can adapt. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I just like it because I had Canon glass. I don't want to buy new glass, I can tell you that. But then again, well, and it's going to have to be like life-changing glass too. Because everything I have is EF or adapts to EF. So I'm not in a hurry to get rid of it. Jeff says, I more like the ability to change the field of view from the different glass. That's true. That is an advantage there. Unless your sensor size is large, and then you're there. I'm interested to see how big the Red Komodo sensor size is. I'm getting I can't say anything. I'll just put the question out there. I mean, I'm interested in seeing how big it is. I have a feeling it's larger than we think. S35 is similar in size to an APS-C, right? Yeah, they're close. APS-C and S35 are as similar as the new Blackmagic 6K S35 to S35. S35 is larger than APS-C. S35 is larger than the Blackmagic sensor in the 6K. So S35 would give you about a 1.4 to 5 crop, whereas, or multiplier, whereas APS-C is a 1.6, and the new Blackmagic, I believe, would be probably close to 1.6 as well, because it's about 10% smaller than Super 35. It's more like an Academy 35 than a Super 35. But standard Super 35 3-perf film is 24 millimeters wide and 18 tall, if I remember correctly, right in that area. Ollie says, the fact that Komodo has an RF mount means it must be full frame? Maybe. I mean, definitely can handle it, but EF can handle full frame too. I don't know. It certainly opens the possibility. Red also has dabbled in larger than Super 35. So like the Red Dragon, the Epic Dragon 6K was slightly larger than Super 35. So it was in between Super 35 and full frame. So Red does play around a bit. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know when it's coming out, but I know it's going to, well, it's already shaking cages. It was pretty interesting to me. And don't get me wrong, I completely respect all the camera manufacturers. I'm not at all dissing on any of them. Blackmagic did amazing things yesterday, and that's an amazing camera, and I probably honestly will buy one. But in the grand scheme of things, the Komodo actually just stomped the Blackmagic. Not for the dollars, because we don't know how much the Komodo costs. But for what we know of the Komodo, what we know about Red, yeah, it kind of stomped the Blackmagic. It kind of sizzled out a little bit of their fire. And just looking at the video views out there, on everybody else's and mine as well, the Blackmagic, there's a lot of Blackmagic users out there. There's a ton, but they kind of rolled off really fast. The Red stuff is still, that news is still like bustling through the industry right now. A lot of conversation about it. I just think that's food for thought. Jeff says, I have a feeling the new Red will be close to APS-H. I'm going to put on Scott's hat for a moment. I'm wearing my hat right now. My thoughts are on Komodo, and these are only my thoughts, and they have nothing to do with anything else. I think it's going to be larger than Super 35. I think it's going to be full frame or really close to full frame. I think it's going to be internal ProRes. And I think it's going to be external RAW. That's what I think. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm guessing at. Maybe the other way around. Maybe it's internal RAW and external ProRes. I don't know. The fact that it has a 4K SDI tells you something. However, the fact that it has a CFast in it tells you something. They need to write fast data internally. I don't know, and we don't know. And we'll know as soon as we know, as soon as that tease comes out, whenever it comes out. No, I'm just kidding. We'll know what it is. I mean, the Komodo is not it's not an all-in-one. It won't do everything. I also think, and again, this is me only guessing, I think it's going to be controlled by a Google device, not Google, but an Android device. I think, like they say, that you need a hydrogen or it costs more. I think the cost more means you need to buy, kind of like DJI on their Phantoms where they have a screen that's on it. It actually is a little tablet that runs Android. And I think they're controlling and doing everything with that camera through Android. That's my guess. It's only a guess. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. That's Scott's hat, and I'm putting on my other hat now. And let's back to the show. Wesley says, sounds like very different target markets and design philosophy between the Komodo and the 6K. I agree. And that's what I said in my video last night. Well, both videos, but I think Red is pulling from the professional downward and Blackmagic is pulling from the budget upwards. Neither are wrong. Neither are bad. I just think they're like, you pull some bubble gum and you start stretching on it. I think Blackmagic is pulling from the lower. They're trying to bring the more affordable camera market towards the professional. And Red is trying to make the professional stuff a little more affordable. That's only my opinion. I state that over and over and over again because, I mean, if I have something I'm allowed to say, I say it, but I'm allowed to say it. Otherwise, it's my opinion. Jeff says, I feel like you're very close. I have no clue, but makes a lot of sense with what has been teased. Yeah, I mean, you got to think of the logic. They didn't put HDMI on it. They're purposefully not making it a DSMC2, and it's not a DSMC3. So there needs to be enough differentiation between them. Just like the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K is going to have some differentiation between the G2. Wouldn't it be interesting if the G2 actually had the 6K sensor? Wouldn't that be just something that maybe was just hidden? And that's why it has a newer sensor. Wouldn't that be something if they said, oh, by the way, all you G2 owners out there, you get 6K for free with firmware. That sounds like a very plausible thought. You tell me. Peter VR says, markets are absolutely converging. Makes me wonder where Red will end up, sandwiched between Blackmagic and Arri. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have some opinions on Red. I also have some opinions from Red. And they're both really interesting. I think the problem with Red and Arri is that Red is trying to put professional stuff in the hands of people who are not necessarily the cream of the crop professionals. And I don't mean that in a derogatory manner. I mean it as Red is trying to get people more into access to the better stuff. I think that hurts them a little bit with the industry professionals, because there is this whole line of professional DPs, cinematographers, directors, and such who just absolutely won't they won't change from the way they used to do things. And that's what I feel like is Red's issue. But Jared says his intention is to make the very best stuff out there comparable to anybody and get it in the hands of people who could not normally do it. Because in his mind, and it's 100% truth, there are a lot of undiscovered talented people out there who, with the right tool, could broaden even further. And That was my C47. And I think that's why he continues to do what he does. And it's not wrong. It's not bad. I just think I think that's the Airy Red. I honestly think Airy Red, Panasonic, Sony, their top of the line production cameras are top of the line, and they all do amazing, amazing work. And in fact, all of you have seen work from all of those on the big screen. Wesley says the G3 should be pretty spectacular. Wesley, just put it in your back pocket. Scott thinks the G2 is 6K already. I have no information on that, but I just thought of it, and I think it is. Bill says, how do you like the DJI Osmo so far? You've been using it for your vlogs, right? Do you have any thoughts on the DJI Osmo Pocket? It's one of has a gimbal that records 4K video. Yep. The Pocket is interesting. What I don't like about the Pocket is the batteries and the size of it. It's an awkward little thing. I like the action cam. I don't like the DJI still does not have a microphone adapter for it. That is pure silly. Because if you've watched any of my vlogs, if I'm in the van and I'm holding it out there, all you get is van noise. And I don't like that. The GoPro, you can at least put, well, if you can buy one, an audio adapter on it. I do like the DJI action. I like it better than the GoPro, but I don't like the fact that you can't put a mic on it. Tony says, hello, Tony. How are you, buddy? Do you have your ice cream? Sorry, man. Ice cream does help, though. Was that Neapolitan? Because it looked like vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. I haven't had that in a long time. Jeff says, do you think Blackmagic is doing the same thing? Blackmagic is not a large company, and they're pushing. Different companies push and pull from wherever they are. So Blackmagic, they did a lot of stuff, but they didn't do a lot of stuff fantastic. Then when they came out with their cameras, they started learning. For the longest time, their cameras were kind of considered a joke. They did some amazing things, but they were considered a joke. I almost bought the 2.5K RAW, the original 2.5. But the 4K, just the straight 4K was a joke. No one liked it. The 4.6, that new sensor, they did like. And they learned. And then the Ursa Mini 4.6, fantastic. The Ursa, joke. The Pocket camera was cool. The Pocket Cinema Camera 4K was really cool. The 6K, really cool. See how they're learning? They're pushing the envelope. And quite honestly, that's how you get people, red users, Airy users, slapping down Blackmagic as well. They're going to do it because people, they got turf. They got to defend the turf. Peter says, agreed, Scott, not sure Red will displace Airy ever with the top level Hollywood, but while Blackmagic puts pressure on them from the bottom, curious if Blackmagic can keep the trajectory up. I would say, and this is my opinion, based upon what I see, I think it is somewhat, I want to use the right words here because I want to say somewhat naive, but it feels harsh. But Blackmagic and Red are not competing in the same space at all. They're not even close in the same space. Now, Blackmagic is coming up and Red is coming down on their, not negatively, but bringing their products down. Blackmagic is competing in a different area. They want to go up, and they probably will. They'll probably figure it out. It's not rocket science. It's just, is there enough money to make it worthwhile? So, the very best Blackmagic camera is not as good as an Airy. It's not as good as a Panasonic. It's not as good as a Red. You can argue, and it's somewhat subjective, but you can do things with Reds that you cannot do with Blackmagic. You can do things with Airies that you can't do with Blackmagics. You can get output out of them that you can't get with others. Now, technology improves. Sony's Venice. I mean, Sony's Venice is like a serious step above where they were before with their like the F55 and some of those others, the F5, and they've come a long way. And I mean, Blackmagic will. So I don't think the pressure. I mean, Arri. I don't know. Arri has a large market share, but Red has a large market share as well. It is naive to think that Red is not being used out there as much as Arri. I mean, they're not equal. I'm not saying that, but Red is used on far more projects than you think. The whole The Boys on Amazon, that was shot with VistaVision Monstro. That's telling you something right there. Gerald says, good evening, sports fans. Hello, Gerald. How are you? Welcome to the wide, wide world of sports. Tony says, I am so fine. It was Neapolitan. Well, good. I haven't had that in a long time. I'm stuck right now on this. It's a cookie dough ice cream, but it's got like a kind of a creamery kind of texture. I really like that kind of ice cream. Peter VR says, what did you think of the cinematography of The Boys? I looked up a few of the DPs, and they all seem pretty new, coming grip, really heavy grade, but looks great. Yeah, I was impressed. I didn't think there was anything astronomically new, but I didn't think it sucked either. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it overall, I wasn't a huge fan of the look. Quite honestly, I think it's so far from Monstro that, yeah, like you say, heavily grade. I think it took away a little bit from Monstro, but I thought it came out fine. And it definitely did not look like Marvel, which I can applaud because I think Marvel, they keep making it more and more cartoonish. It's kind of hilarious. The DPs on purpose, Amazon is doing what we're talking about here, which is getting professional gear in the hands of people who may not have had access to it before. And you can see there's a lot of talent out there, which is why I say everybody should just go out there and shoot something because you're probably pretty good and you could definitely be better and you can do amazing creative things. Amazon's going out there finding young DPs or old DPs who've never done anything before and putting them out there and showing them, here, do it. And look at what they're doing. They're succeeding. Blackmagic is poor man's Red, basically. You could say that. I mean, I think it's derogatory to put it that way. They're in two different classes. I mean, Blackmagic is striving to be Red. They're striving to obtain that level of thinking. And they're making headwinds. But, I mean, Red is cool. Arri is cool. Venice is cool. Panasonic is cool. Blackmagic is cool. They're all, yeah. I'm trying to make everyone understand that I'm truly not. I am camera agnostic. I just own a Red, and I own a Red because of what it does for me. I own a Sony because of what it does for me, and I'm going to probably own the Blackmagic 6K for what it's going to do for me, and I'm probably going to own a Komodo because it's going to do some things for me as well. That's the way we do things. Tony says hard. Yeah, it's a little harsh, Ollie, but I get it. You weren't mean. On a seriously bad shooting day, any ice cream will do. It's like comfort food. Yeah. You know what else is good comfort food? Any kind of super cheesy noodles. There goes my nose. My neighbor was watching my live stream last week, and he mixed up my phone and my wife's phone. So he texted my wife, and he's like, new drinking game. Every time you touch your nose, everybody has to take a drink. But he texted it to my wife. And she's like, what? So if you're out there watching, David, yeah, that's the drinking game. If I touch my nose, you got to take a drink or ice cream or something. I have a feeling that it's my excessive nose hairs that when I talk too much, my nose wiggles and it makes me itch. Ollie says, haha. Tony says, oh, I did the noodle thing. Yeah, there's, you can melt some noodles with some cream cheese and some nice cheeses. And it's lovely. Bill says, just admit it, Scott. You're a camera fanboy. I am a camera fanboy. Absolutely, I am a camera fanboy. Have y'all seen these? Man, these things are really cool. I was using one of these the other night in my little typing skit there. These things are really bright. I mean, they are. Oh, this is not even all the way. That's this sucker, battery operated. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to my haunted house. Ooh, that looks a little cool. And this one is bicolor too. Maybe not. Maybe today it's not. Oh, it is. What's going on here? Oh, I see. There we go. There we go. I'm still learning it. Yeah, these are the Aperture MXs. And these are, little tiny rechargeable, got a heat sink, bicolor. You can swap out little soft boxes on them. I'm having a lot of fun putting these all over the place and using them. And I'll be showing y'all some stuff with that too. This is not sponsored by Aperture, by the way. I just like Aperture. Let's see here. Tony says, Bill, that made me laugh out loud. Yeah, it made me laugh too. Peter, haha, let's see. GVMs love them. GVMs. What's a GVM? I am totally lost. Tony says, love the new set too, by the way. Thank you, Tony. I call it the sauna. People keep making fun of it, calling it, well, yeah. There was one comment that said it was a sauna. And these are these plastic, I like them. I think they look pretty good. I've got some stuff to put on here. I'm going to put some shelving right here with some lights on them just to kind of bring out the set a little bit more. I don't like having this whole dark area. And then like here, if I want to talk about a product or anything that I'm reviewing, I want to have it here. And I think I'm going to do more like in-depth tech reviews in addition to, not in replacement of the other stuff. I still want to do all the cinematography stuff. I just feel like that the channel grows faster when I throw some tech reviews out there and some tech insight and tech news. So if you're not a fan of that, I apologize. If you are, yay! But that's coming. Bill says the set is looking good. Well, thank you very much. Peter says, sorry, thought the MX was a GVM, very similar. No. Keen to try out the new Aperture MCs? Yes, indeed. This is the MW. This guy is sickeningly bright. Let me see what we get here. This thing lights up, everything. Well, there we go. Now I can show around. Hey, look, it's the Aperture 300D Mark II. You can't see it. Oh. Is it? Okay, good. Yeah, this is just plastic with wood inserted. Now, for those of you, I'm going to consider you guys the insiders. I'm going to let you in a little secret. My OCD, I cannot stand this. You can't see it. You see how these don't line up? Oh, man. It is so disappointing to me. So disappointing to me that these things are very expensive and they don't line up. Oh, OCD. Okay, let's see here. Peter Bill says GVM great video maker. Could be. Provides professional equipment for photographers and videographers, which includes but not limited to professional LED video lighting. Yes, that's great. There we go. Wesley Doucette, looking forward to your epic 128 core dual socket review. I wish, Wesley. I really would love to get my hands on one of those, but you're talking about, to make that machine worthwhile, you're talking about a $25,000 build. And I would love it. And I would love to be able to build one. In fact, you could all go out there to Patreon and just drop a little tip out there every month. Or you can super chat me, and we'll get on our way to that 128 core build. How about that? How's that for product placement? No, that's cyber begging placement. Yeah, there we go. Seriously, though, for anybody who would like to, if you want to contribute to Patreon, I would appreciate that. It really does help because times is tight right now. Scotty feeling it, but he's enduring. He always does. Let's see here. What was this last light? This was the MW by Aperture, and it is a single color battery-powered light. It also has, let me turn it on here. So it's dimmable, and it'll run in low power mode, which is this. It'll run for like 8 hours on low power mode, but it also has some effects. Let me see if I can, whoops. Come on, there we go. I'll do there we go. So we've got different effects. So this will be fireworks, I'm guessing. Is there a brightness? And then there's paparazzi. Okay, I need to change my brightness here. Okay. Got to get this thing bright so I can show off the effects. There we go. But it has some really cool effects built into it. This one is, I don't know what this one is. What is it? One of them is paparazzi. That could be paparazzi or lightning. There we go. Let's see. Get there. Yep. So there's an effect. There's an effect. That's short circuit there. And then I can't, let's see. That's another short circuit. This is TV. I'm actually being able to see them now. This is paparazzi. That's supposed to emulate, oh, I'm a fashion star being taken. Fireworks. Yeah, don't know. So we'll turn that off because it's like seriously stressing me out. But it is a single color. It does come with a like a silicone diffuser. But it's a nice little light. And they're like $200. Little tiny thing. Weighs a little bit. It's has like half the brightness of it, but it's bicolor, so you can do multiple colors. In fact, it sways between them. Let's see here. Bill says, internet begging, cyber begging, e-begging, or internet panhandling is the online version of traditional begging, asking strangers for money. This is not that because you all are not strangers. But, yeah, I mean, Patreon. I'm a really bad beggar. I do have to figure out some way to generate some revenue, though, from this at some point. And I still love doing this, don't get me wrong. But it's becoming to the point where I'm loving doing this a lot. And I'm I'm putting more time into this than I should be. So I've got to figure out some way to get some revenue out of this. So if you want a super chat, if you want a Patreon, I really, really appreciate it. Maybe I'll do a Patreon where, like, if you support me, I'll put your name in the ending credits, something like that. Because I don't like to hide. I don't like to hide stuff, but I don't know. Y'all tell me, what do y'all think? What should I do to bring in some revenue into here? And I'm not talking about living off of this. I'm just talking about bringing in some revenue. Because I've seen some people really do it wrong, and I don't want to be that person. Tony says, "Yeah, Bill, back at you, Bill." So what are some other fantastic questions you all have? Or what are some other things you want to talk about? Because I love chatting a lot. And it's only an hour and 15 minutes into this. And, I feel like we can have a lot more conversation. I mean, my voice went really high there. That was really weird. I think a shelf here. What do you think? You can't see it, but like right back. This is. I think a shelf, like here, and then maybe some down lighting on them. I think that look pretty cool, as long as you don't see the glare. I don't mind this glare up here from these lights because they're gold and they're kind of globe, so they globular. Always swaying. It really bothered me last night. How's the contest coming? Yep, that would really drive views. Yeah, it's actually coming. I've had actually a couple of conversations about that recently with a couple of people about it, and yeah, working on it. I definitely want to do that. It is absolutely one of the top things on my agenda plate. Bill says, I told you what I am considering. You already have the content every Friday. Just need to put them on a platform. Yep, that's true. Tony says, Scott B. Doll would make my... I don't think so. How about a doll, one of those with a pull cord? And you pull it, and then I say something amazing like, "Go out and shoot something." Yeah. You can be anything that you want to be as long as you buy a camera. Yeah. Have you seen the new insert camera name here? Ollie says, I think you should take advantage of the fact that you travel often and make a location course on shooting red, time-lapse, etc. I can do that. I can do that. I don't know what the interest level would be, but I could do that. I mean, it was and still is my intention with the adventure travels is to do that. And like the one that I did a year ago where I was gone for that length of time, it was specifically to test out my ability to do that. And I didn't fail. I think I can pull it off. The question is be enough interest. And I don't know that the channel is strong enough to support enough people interested in that. Certainly, it would be a much cheaper offering than what a lot of people offer. And I'm not cutting them down. I get the model. I don't like the model of pay me to fly with you somewhere else, and then we'll do vacation travel. I've got several friends that are doing that model, and I wish them the best. I just don't like it. I don't think it's fair. I don't want to pay somebody to go on vacation. I don't think a Scott B. Doll would Tony says, see, now we're on to something. Adam Grumbo says, is that Ian Malcolm? Yes, it is. It's sexy Ian Malcolm. Look at that guy. Ooh, he's got the shirt undone, everything. When this got announced, I did everything I could to get one. It was not hard. It was not easy. They were actually very popular for now. I think you can buy them anywhere. But I got on a waiting list to get one. I was very pleased with him. And then he's fallen off this desk like 6 times and smashed his nose. It's pretty sad. Yeah, honestly, 10 minutes before the live stream started, I realized that my post that holds my monitor, which is right here, was visible. And so I said, well, let's just put Ian on there. Hello, Grumbo. How are you, buddy? Got to pull my back there. Gerald says, revenue is always a challenge. I'm tempted to slow down photography job to do more passion projects, but that's a yikes type of decision. Maybe this winter when things slow down. I mean, you should find a balance for sure. Keep the lights on. And then the more you can introduce passion into your passions into what you're doing, the happier you're going to be doing it. And then you'll figure out how to make some money from it. I mean, it's like I said, money's not flowing in over here right now. Just had some jobs canceled last minute. I got some work, but not a lot of work. And I'll just keep going, no matter what hits me. I mean, if I hit the very bottom, I'll live out of my van. I don't care. As long as I'm doing what I love, and I have a very supportive wife, so who will live in the van with me for a while. I don't know how long she would live in there. Let's see here. Bill says, we are coming up on your 1-year anniversary of you leaving your job. No, we passed it, actually. We passed that. And I can tell because on my Facebook, it keeps popping up, my 1-year anniversaries. Last year you were doing this. And I was just traveling through Colorado. So August 3rd, I think, is my last day of my job. So this is 1 year. And like I said, like 2 minutes ago, I don't look back. I don't have any regrets whatsoever. And in fact, I am writing a sitcom, based upon the complete and total ineptitude and BS that was my management staff at my last job. But, mostly centered around IT. The fun that I had, plus some other jobs that I've had that I've always written down the stories. An example was a previous job. We had a guy, he had like no filter, nothing at all. Oh, I'm just sharing this story just because it's funny. No filter whatsoever. And we had an on-call pager at the time. It was a phone. And so when he got the pager, he had it on him, and he went to the bathroom, and he likes to use he likes to play games on it or whatever. Something was happening that day, and he didn't want his pants falling to the ground, and his pager wouldn't stay on his hip, so he placed it in like the crotch of his underwear while he was using the restroom, going obviously the longer sit-down version. And he forgot about it, and he pulled up his pants, and he was walking around for 10 minutes looking for the pager before he discovered in front of everyone that it was in his crotch. And then he pulls it out and puts it on the hip. That's not something you can make up. Obviously, none of us actually ever used that pager again. We immediately required a new BlackBerry at the time. But yeah, that's a story that's going to go in the sitcom. Let's see here. Wesley says, we're on the 45-minute anniversary of my last day. That's awesome. Good for you, man. Catching up on edits someday. Yeah, that's true. Gerald says, I do wish we had better, stronger photo video community here in Virginia. Uh, very few groups or organizations that get together. Tough to find local guys with this passion. That's true. How far are you from Virginia Beach? Bill, same here in North Carolina. Yep, yep. Bill also says, other than regular camera clubs, there's very little to no creative content communities. It's true, but that's where I'd say if your passion drives you to it, create them. Go create that. Go create. I've got a buddy in Virginia Beach, and he's kind of in the same way. But all of y'all are on that East Coast. Get together. I mean, it's create something for people to join up and learn from each other, and tell them all to subscribe to my channel. Yeah, it's. I mean, I feel that way here. I am just far enough outside of Austin that I feel cut off from Austin. And so I feel like there's not that many creatives around here. I mean, Adam there lives like 30 minutes from me. But we only see each other like 3 or 4 times a year. It's pretty pathetic, actually. Adam. He's always working. I'm always not. Our schedules just don't align. We're just 2 ships passing in the ocean. Tony says, start an online group and move it to a physical group. Absolutely. Absolutely, you should. That is, I mean, sometimes it's up to you to drive your own passion. Kind of like this channel. I put it on me to go out there and create something a little different than everybody else. Like these live streams. These live streams are just Scott talking to a bunch of people on the telephone, basically. I didn't come out and go, today we're talking about I didn't do that on purpose. Because I wanted that sense of community. Now, I get it. As this thing grows, and it will grow, because we're going to grow. Because every single one of y'all is going to go out there and get 5 people to join up and be a part of this community. But wouldn't it be cool, though, Gerald, if you met somebody on here who was close to you? That's going to happen. And then you're gonna be able to buddy up and learn some things from each other. That's going to happen as we grow this community. But that's what this whole channel is about. Is more of a community than Scott the all-knowing, because I'm not. I'd rather get up and show what I know, learn from you guys, teach what I know, teach what I learned from you guys, share what I know, share with what you know, share your creativity, run some contests, have some fun, do some live streams. I can't have the adult beverages or the tobacco, but All right, so now we're at the time of our game show where let's throw some questions out there. What I get about 45 minutes before my nose itches. I don't know what it is, but it actually itches for like an hour. Isn't it? Somebody's coming to visit. Maybe that's what it is. Tony 229. Yep, MX. Yeah, the MW should be like $50 more than the MX. This is the MX, the bicolor. And these are really good, Tony. Like if you have the camera in front of you and you just put the light in front of you like this. Hey, that's very yellow. But like you're talking to camera. Honestly, the Black Magic, the Black Magic 6K video was shot with this. That was the light in the entire room, was this on top of the camera. And these things are extremely durable. And I know this. I mean, they've passed the ceiling fan test because I had it mounted right on top of my Sony. And as I was reaching and pulling out the legs of my tripod, I just kind of stuck this up into the ceiling fan that was on high and scared me. I kind of ducked and said some words and then panicked and then looked at my camera and my light, and it was fine. This is magnetic, by the way. It's a little diffuser. Just pops on. That fell off. It was the only thing that happened on the light on the fan. So they're quite durable. And they come with a nice case. They actually have a little diffuser that goes over it. I didn't bring all the accessories. I'm going to do a proper review on these just because I like them. But I'm going to do definitely more detailed reviews on some of this stuff. It is cool. Let me see here. Pull this up. Aputure MX. There it is. And I'm just going to drop a link to all of you wonderful people in there. If you want to buy one, you can use my Amazon affiliate link, and I will make a very tiny portion. There you go. There's the MX, and then here's the MW. And yeah, if y'all want to buy the 300D Mark II, y'all should. I would tell anybody right now that's on the fence on it, if you've seen anything that's questionable, as far as you're not really sure if you want to invest in one, wait for a couple more reviews to come out. I'll obviously be having a couple more coming out. But if you feel like you're on the fence and you just want someone to tell you that you're not like wrong, you're not wrong. It's actually a very solid light. I mean, really well built. This thing is much stronger than it was before. The yoke is better. The cables are now there's only one cable because there's only one box. Ding, set this down. We'll pull this. I mean, this thing, wow, I just created a mess over here. I mean, the box, there it is right there, is pretty phenomenal. It's one. You can run it from one battery, but it has two. If you run it from one, you get 50% power, two of them. I mean, it's cool. You can set it on your table. It has Bluetooth built in, DMX. It's a cool light. And my goodness, is it bright. Like I don't use the term my goodness very often because that's so harsh. But my goodness, it's bright. I don't have it plugged in over here. I only did it for just a backdrop right there. So, questions. Who's got questions? Who's got answers? Who's got stuff they want to talk about? Drop them down there. We got lots of people out there, actually. Lots of people watching. I like that. I appreciate that, too. Oh, as soon as I said that, someone drops off. I get it. I see how you are. I see how it's going to be. Peter VR says, I'm behind on YouTube. Been out in Chicago for work until today. How many stops more can you get out of the 300D Mark II than the 120D Mark II? I have the latter, and it feels a little low at times. A lot. So, to give you an example, the 300D Mark II, 300D, which is over there, with its reflector, I think it was a F5. With this, it was an F12.8. Now this is 20, on my measurements, just the light itself, it's 24 to 26% brighter than the 300D. This is almost 2 times the output, the parabolic dish in the front. When I put it on the 300D, if you watch my video, go back 3 videos on my channel, I do a comparison of these, and I actually put this on the 300D just for comparison's sake. This little parabolic reflector makes that one much brighter, but it does make it narrower, which makes sense. Based upon my testing right now, and I said it at the beginning, I don't know if you saw that, Peter, but there's going to be some lighting tests coming out here really soon, comparing this with a 1.2K HMI, a 1K tungsten Fresnel 650, a bunch of different lights, metered, so that we can actually, at different locations and at different lengths. This thing compares pretty close, 80% of the way there, to a 1.2K HMI. I was getting at 1 meter on spot, I was getting 50 to 60,000 lux out of this. My 1.2K HMI, I was getting 120. But as you know, light is like sound. It's not twice as bright when you twice the output. It's odd the way that works. But yeah, it is. The 300D is brighter than the 120D Mark II. And I think it's like 25% brighter. This one is close to 25% brighter than that. And then you have the reflector on there. It is, well, fine. I mean, let me blow out my scene here. Hold on. This will be fun. This is something I can only do on my version of the live stream. Other versions of the live stream, you can't do this because they have a set. Ooh, there we go. They have a set agenda on what they want to cover that day, and I do not. Let's see what happens here. We're plugging it in, plug it in, plug it in. There we go. So, let's just do this. All right. Now we can play. So let's turn this bad boy right at the camera and blow. No. We're going to just put it halfway on my face. Pull this off. Can I switch that? I'm afraid if I switch to that. Nah, I don't want to switch to that. I switched to overhead, but okay. So halfway on my face. Stop. And we're at 1%. Isn't that amazing? No. So we're going to crank this up. Okay, that's 8%. That's 31%. Now, granted, just so you can see what's going on here. Okay. There's 57%. 77%. Don't look at that. Let's just crank it up. 100%. So here I am. Oh, God. Oh, don't look at it. This is 100%. I mean, it is totally blown out, the everything. Wow. Ah, God, stop doing that. It is really bright. Let's see if I can bounce it off the ceiling. So the ceiling, you can't see, is black. So even bouncing off of a flat black ceiling with nothing reflective at all, I mean, we bring up the ambient light in here. It brightens up slowly. That's weird. I guess it's so it doesn't spark, like when you say sparking. But it's no slouch. And then it actually has, I have to put on my spectacles here. Did I lose everybody? Really? Everybody ditched because I brought out a camera or brought out a light? So let's see here. Lighting effects. There's paparazzi. Fireworks. There's a faulty bulb. Maybe. So I guess it's just faulty periodically. We've got lightning. TV. It's supposed to emulate TV. I'd put a blue gel on it. Pulsing. Strobe. Explosion. Maybe. Interesting. Yeah, it's got a ton of options on here, and it's super quiet. There's no fan in the power supply. I mean, that's huge. So hopefully that helps you a little bit with the 120D Mark II versus 300D. Current right now, I bet you it's f/22. f/22 at ISO 800 at a 180-degree shutter. Why is it so bright right now? What's going on here? There we go. So yeah, it's pretty bright. I mean, I had to put ND on my camera when I shot the little typing scene. And that was bouncing into an 8x8 overhead, just creating ambient. That was really hot, actually. And it's amazing how a light that's LED that pulls almost no power puts out heat. It puts out heat. All right, who's got questions? I mean, the live stream is just kind of rolling off. It's okay. I mean, it can do that. I mean, all I'm going to do is go grab an adult beverage and a cigar. Probably sit in the pool. Probably will do that. All right, I'm going to give it 5 minutes. So if you got questions, I mean, we'll go longer, but you got 5 minutes to get your questions in. Start throwing them out there. Even if you just want to type in, wait, and then I'll close it out. Peter says, that's good to hear. Thanks. Okay. I come from photography world, used to strobes, which can easily overpower the sun. Not too easy with constant light. This is true. Nar Levani, you're awesome, no question. Well, thank you, Nar. I appreciate that. But let's chat. I mean, where are you from? What do you do? Let's have that conversation. I enjoy talking with everyone. Tony says, I thought your family fetched you drinks. But see, I was doing these live streams on days that worked out. And now that I moved to like 4 o'clock on Friday, my daughter's working, my wife's working. It hasn't been working out. I don't get my free drinks. Ollie says, I've decided never to buy a Mark I product ever again. I've been burned by the C100, A7S, DJI Phantom, 300D, night and day difference in usability, worth waiting for the Mark II of any. There's truth to that. What was it about the 300D you didn't like? The A7S, I got you. I had one too. The DJI Phantom, I had one too. I spent a lot of money building out my Phantom because everything that's in them now, you had to buy add-ons and solder them up yourself. I spent a lot of money on that. C100. I had the Mark 1.5 of that one. Nar says, I took your portrait on the Atlas. Oh, hey, Nar. In Vegas on the balcony, which reminds me, I should ping Tim for that. Oh, you didn't get it? I've got it. In the bottom, well, films@imaginationx.com. Email me. I'll get it to you. I've got all of that. I thought he had gotten that to you. I apologize. I had asked him. He said he did, but yeah, cool. Yeah, it was my card. Let's see. Yeah, Nar is a DP, and yeah, he was hanging out with us. Well, Nar was at the party where I shot that on the Taquina first Vegas footage, where it was overlooking everything. Nar was there, and then we had the Monstro, and then we had the Atlas 25 millimeter anamorphic. It was the first time it was on a Monstro, and it was gorgeous. And I did not know, Nar, that you did not get your footage. I will get that up to you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I like those Atlas lenses. Plus that Atlas 25. The Atlas 25 was so freaking wide. And if y'all have not seen the Atlas lenses, they are really spectacular. I mean, for the amateur, they're out of the price range. But for the mid-professional, they actually enter the price range because they're really affordable. I think they just announced a price increase. But yeah, they are... They're pretty cool. But yeah, Nar, email me. I'll get you the footage. All good, huh? I took my time reaching out to him. I'll message you link right now. Perfect. That will make it super easy. It'll take a while for me to upload because my internet's slow, but I will absolutely get all that stuff up to you. That was a lot of fun, and it was a good party. I thought your name sounded familiar, Nar. I only knew you by the first name. Didn't click. Well, thank you for joining the live stream. I appreciate that. It's fun out here. I enjoy doing it. Ali, tell me what the noisy ballast. There it is. Okay, you did answer it. Yes, I would say my number one gripe is that little. I would call it 100% a server power supply. That's what I think it is. With a little server fan in it. I did not like that design. But that's what I liked about Aperture. I mean, I've known Aperture a while now, and I love Ted. Y'all seen him in every one of my videos when I'm out in Vegas or California. Ted's in there, and I love Ted. He's a super awesome guy, and he's started back up Indie Mogul. I mean, yeah, y'all definitely should enjoy that. But they listened. They did not like the number of people who did not like the sound of that fan, and that's fair. That's what it is. But them coming up with the all-in-one box, fanless. All of that is 100% because people buy Mark 1s and then let them know. And I like that in a company. I think that says a lot. Sorry. And that's a lot of the companies that I work with. And when I say work with, is companies that I buy products from and just talk to them and build relationships with them as people. I like that. Aperture always listens to customers. 300D has served me well overall, but while the Mark II is way better. Oh yeah, it is. You got a Mark II? Oh yeah, I can't stop coughing. Yeah, the Mark II is so much more, and it's bright. As what I was saying, I'm not 100% sold. I'm 90% sold with what I've done so far. But I've got a lot of lighting setups to do with this and just kind of run it through its paces. But I feel pretty confident that I'm actually going to be retiring several other lights and bringing in 3 or 4 of these. because I cannot imagine what 4 of these blasting through an 8x8 would look like, but it's going to look awesome. It is, it puts out so much. I really liked my C100. I miss that camera. To me, with the exception of the codec that it had internally, what I liked about the I had the model when they first introduced autofocus. And I paid $44.95 for it when it came out. I liked, you could power that thing up and you would get a beautifully clean, crisp, sharp image out of it. It looked great always. And then when you recorded it, it kind of would blow out the colors a little bit, but yeah. Tony says, a company who listened was Rode about the Rodecaster Pro, and the firmware updates are awesome. They could have released other machines to cover updates. Sorry for the tangent. No, absolutely. Rode is one of those companies. Rode is a company that I've had a lot of conversations with, and they're not that accessible. They are to you, Tony, because they're in Australia. But they don't go to shows. They just kind of show up and just kind of talk and mingle. But I've had a lot of conversations. I have a lot of Rode gear here, and I really like that. They're still going strong. I've got an NT1, one of the original NT1 microphones from maybe, what is that? 15, 18 years ago? Still works like crazy. And Rode is one of those companies. Rode is one of those companies too that gives back. And I think you find those type of companies all those friendly companies all give back. Like Rode did the My Rode reel several times, and they're kind of giving back and sponsoring and encouraging creativity. Kessler with their Kessler shooters and their Kessler events and all that stuff with Kessler. I love all that stuff. The Aperture with Ted doing Indie Mogul, but Aperture doing the 4-minute film schools and all the Aperture lighting with Valentina. All of that stuff is giving back. Yeah, they're using their products, but they're giving away free information using their products and showing you what you can do with their products, but they're helping. I like that. That's what I dig about these small, personable companies. Red is, people think Red is this giant conglomerate. Red is one of the coolest companies that I've ever known. And knowing the president, he's one of the coolest dudes on the planet. Really, just amazingly cool and so much fun to chat with. That's what I like. I like the personability here that we can all chat with. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I started the channel, was doing what they were doing for me. I wanted to do elsewhere. It's not pay it forward. Maybe it is. I like pay it forward. I like that idea. My friend Matt in England does We Make Good Happen. Just pushing things forward, helping people, getting everybody nice and excited and encouraged and encouraged. I wonder if encouraged is a word. Yeah, just getting people creating stuff. Tony says, I've changed my Rode exclusively for my mind. Well, I believe that. It's well worth it for you. It makes a difference. It makes it easier for you. And you know what you've got. You've got a quality product from a quality company. And, when you use them, it probably makes you, it doesn't bring flowers to your door. But when you do work with them and it does everything you want, you probably crack a little smile. I do that a lot when I'm shooting, and I shoot something and I look at it back, and if it's either the slider I used or the lighting I had or just the camera in nature, I give a little smile at what just happened, because I'm the creator. And that's a tool. But that tool also gave me some confidence to do the creativity. Some of the lightning shots that I got when I was out in Yellowstone, where I love them. They're amazing. Can't wait to show you guys. Be putting that out of stock footage. Confidence makes a difference when working. Yes, it does. It really does. Confidence is... Confidence, I'm going to make a statement, and I don't know how true it will hold up. I feel like confidence is something that you never can have enough of. And you can gain it. It's like knowledge. You gain it slowly over time, and you keep building on it. And I say that you can never have enough of it. People are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I've seen some people who are way overconfident. I think overconfident is a completely different thing than having confidence. And I mean, I think the most confident person in the world would not be cocky. They would not be rude. They would not be disingenuous. The most confident person in the world would just feel good about what they're doing. And I think getting a little bit of confidence every day and using the right gear, I think it makes all the difference in the world. Sorry. Peter says, when do we get to see some red footage from Yosemite? Yeah, good point. It's still sitting on my drives. I did not touch that. If you want to see the previous stuff, go out and look at, there's 2 films I put out there, California Part 1 and Water, A Story of Time, I believe it was. Those 2 have a lot of Yosemite footage in it. Oh, Yellowstone. In time. I made the decision to put my vlogs that have to do with any kind of filmmaking on this channel as opposed to the other one because I like to be creative with those, and it's filmmaking, and there's a little bit in there. So I've got more. I've got more to put out. I didn't want to slam the channel with vlog. I mean, they don't do really well on the views, so I try not to overpower the channel. Not overpowering like me, but yeah, I've got. Let's see, where did we leave off? Yeah, we left off day 2, and these are not real days. These are just conglomerations of days because I don't vlog fantastically. I almost always forget to close out a vlog. And so I usually do it the next day, and I'm like, oh, I need to close out the previous vlog. And I have gone so far, this is inside baseball here, I've gone so far as to put on the shirt from the day before, go in the van, close out all the curtains so that it's dark, turn on the lights, and pretend it's night out to close out a vlog. I'm so bad at closing them out. There you go. All right, who's got any last questions here? We're gonna end it here at 6 o'clock on the dot, and we still got 8 minutes, 7 minutes if you include my ending closing monologue. But yeah, come on, throw some questions out there. Throw some stories. Throw some comments. What's your next camera? What are you buying next? What's yeah, all that good stuff. Let's see here. Hey, Kylan, how are you? Good to see you again. Oh, I haven't talked to you in 3 weeks. Has it been 3 or 4 weeks? I think it's been 4 weeks. Welcome back. Nar, see you at IBC. No, I have not been to IBC yet. Maybe I should. When is it? It's September, right? Wesley says Ginny Cam. Oh, ha ha ha. Ginny Mag? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, good luck. Have a great weekend. Hey, yeah, you too, Wesley. Enjoy your newfound career. Nar says, make it happen. Yeah, September. I might be able to. I might be able to. I actually know some people over there. Maybe I could get a couch. Kyla says, just got back from traveling. Ursa G2 has been working well for me. But that Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 6K looks interesting. You missed it earlier. I don't know. I'm pulling this out of my mind. But what if the G2 is already 6K? And they'll just go, oh, by the way, you got a 6K camera. That's what kind of, I'm holding that out there. I'm holding it out there as a possibility, because the fact that they released this 6K so fast compared to the G2, I kind of wonder, wouldn't that be cool if they just go firmware upgrade, you get it, or hey, we'll swap you out to the 6K sensor for $500. It'd be kind of cool. Wesley thanks. I think there's some 14-hour days in my future, but I'll check it eventually. Absolutely. Be good, man. Have a good time, and enjoy your new career, because it is everything. Yeah, Kyle, that's right. You got it here in Austin, and then went to California. You need to shoot some 300 frames per second stuff on that. I've only seen like 2 videos that. Well, I only saw one video that was actually any good of 300 frames per second on that. The other ones, I don't think they did it justice. It looked pretty bad to me. I think it looks better than that. I would love to see 300 frames a second on the G2. I think that would be... they get 300 frames per second at full 2K. I mean, that's more than the Red will do. The Red will only do it at 2.4 to 1 ratio. So, yeah. Tony says, I am setting up a YouTube vid as you speak. You've inspired me. Great, Tony. Good for you, buddy. I like it. That was like, what, 4 years ago or something like that? Or when he was all clean shaven. He looked so good. And he was just kind of, you should have some more adventures with Buddy. Kylan says, I'll give it a shot. Then do it. Light it well, because the noise is going to come out. And show something good in 300 frames a second. And it's hard. I get it. But the one that I saw that looked pretty good, it was 2 cherries that smacked into each other. And that was the only one that I saw that was good. All the others, they had like fire and everything. It didn't look good. So yeah, give that a shot and let me know. You can inspire me at Tony Wedwards. Maybe I can finish my first YouTube one of these days. Do it, Peter. Do it. Tony will inspire you. I'll inspire you. Kylan will inspire you. Nar says do it. Come on, do it. All right, we are at our close, my friends. It is time. So long, farewell, Avitas, and goodbye. Yeah, we're there. So, thank you all for joining me today for a great 2-hour live stream. I enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. Just FYI, the camera we're live streaming on today is the Red. Yeah. Throwing that back out there. Full send, got it. As always, if you have any questions or comments, do feel free to put them in the comment section down below. I always try to read and respond to each and every one, even if it's just to say thank you. Also, please remember, you can support me on Patreon. It really will help. It'll make my day and inspire me. Well, it'll inspire my pantry. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video. Yeah, like it. And share this channel. I mean, if there's anybody that's interested at all in photography, video, filmmaking, tell them about this channel. Let's grow this thing. I'm really pleased the last one day, 100 subscribers we've gotten. Let's keep going. Let's do this. Make it your personal mission. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions. Today I'm just going to stare at the camera for 20 seconds. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. Seriously. Every one of y'all, go smile. Go create something. Go do something. Feel good about yourself. Yeah. Bye.